Hi, Internet. I feel like I make montages almost every year for my testosterone updates. Every year I try to reuse the same footage and I basically do the same thing. And then this year I was like, great, it's time to make my 5 years. This is big, this is a big deal. And I tried to reuse the same footage and I was like, okay, buddy, you gotta do something a little different because everything you've done up until now is pretty much the same. And I think I succeeded. So this year, instead of doing clips from old me to new me, or comparisons or whatever, I kind of am still doing that, but I'm gonna give you a timeline instead. So I'm gonna take you back all the way to my childhood and then kind of talk about some things that I have gone through mentally, emotionally, physically since childhood till now, and I think it's gonna be pretty cool. So let's get into it. When I was in middle school, but especially in high school, I remember so badly that I just wanted to fit in, and that's all I wanted out of life. I just wanted to fit in, I wanted to be normal, and to me that meant being a normal girl. I saw my friends all wearing makeup, dressing in short shorts and short skirts and things like that, and I really wasn't interested. I was sort of outcasted for that, and however unfair that was to me at the time, it sort of makes sense now, but I really had no inkling. I just thought, I just don't fit in, I just don't like the things that my friends like. It really carried no other meaning for me, or greater meaning for me, I guess, at the time. There was a point in time where I wanted to cut my hair. I compromised, I remember. I compromised for shoulder-length hair. And I think really deep down I wanted to have the hair that I have now, but I couldn't visualize it. So I did compromise for short hair, and I still managed to dress up and, look ladylike, if you will. I don't know, there was just something about me, and by the time I was a junior in high school, I realized that I was attracted to women. At that point, I came out as a lesbian, which clearly is not an identity that I identify with anymore. I thought that that was it. I was like, wow, I'm different, this is it, this is gonna be great. And I embraced my lesbian identity pretty hardcore. That was something that I felt right about doing. And I stayed true to myself and I did it, and I spent a lot of time in the closet, and I felt like I deserved to not be in the closet anymore. So I came out as a lesbian. So I embraced that lesbian identity pretty head on until when I got to college. That was the most liberating 4 years of my life ever. That I've ever had. Most of that came from me cutting my hair. So I had my first haircut pretty much immediately after I went to Smith, and I felt free. I felt like I could be out of my hometown and out of the pressure of appearing a certain way as a woman, and there were so many people at Smith with short hair that I felt right at home, and I thought this would be the perfect place for me to do this. And I did, and it was truly one of the most fun, liberating things that I have ever done.
I cannot believe this is happening right now. Oh my god!
So that happened in 2008. When I cut my hair, it still looked very feminine. I then went back and made it more masculine because I felt comfortable with the short hair. It was sort of like a stepping stone, right? I felt comfortable with the short hair, but then I had to go back and be like, okay, oh, this is what I really want it to be. So I really then made it more masculine. And that was when I discovered my love for ties. I started dressing up for every occasion that I absolutely could. I love dressing up as more masculine and presenting that way, and I was comfortable doing that at Smith. And that's when it really bloomed for me that, okay, this is something that I could really get used to. It wasn't until really the end of 2009 that I started to think, okay, maybe I'm trans. And that came from a combination of two things. One, this is number two. One was me seeing trans guys all over campus. Something just clicked with them, and it really wasn't this obvious moment. It wasn't like, oh my god, it's me. I was sort of more envious, like I was in high school. I was just envious of their life, and that they had this, and that they could be this person, and I really never thought to apply myself to that, because the trans guys that I met were very masculine and hairy and big. I was like, well, that will never be me. I kind of just didn't even go there in my mind. But the second thing was YouTube. There were a couple people that I found on YouTube, one of them being my best friend now, Sky, who I watched their videos and I was like, oh my god, this could totally be me. And it all sort of clicked in this really scary, profound moment for me that, oh my god, I'm trans. And that was like, I don't know, I was 19 and I was newly in college. I was going to a women's college at the time and I'd just come out as a lesbian, and there were just so many things that were going through my mind that I got really scared of it. So the summer of 2009 was when I sort of suppressed all of that and I tried to be hyper feminine. I wore short shorts and tight shirts so you could see my boobs, and I started to kind of grow my hair back to what it was when I first cut it. Every time someone used male pronouns, I got really upset. But then when I started to look back on it, I really wasn't upset about the male pronouns. I was upset that they were seeing me for who I truly was and I wasn't able to. So when I got back to school in 2009, I was like, okay, maybe I'm genderqueer. You know what? Maybe I'm not masculine or feminine. I'm somewhere in the middle. And that's when I started making YouTube videos.
I'm thinking about transitioning. I've been thinking about it for well over a year now. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to figure out my identity and how to define myself right now, and I know that right now I'm genderqueer. I definitely feel more comfortable as a male than as a female. That's something that I'm struggling with right now to come to terms with.
As I got more comfortable on YouTube, I started to kind of explore my gender a little bit more. I bought a binder and a packer for the first time, and those were two really big steps for me. As I started to go more down that road, I thought, oh my god, I think I like this. I think I like being masculine. That's when I started experimenting with names, and I went by Riley for a while and Russ for a while, and I used male pronouns and only with certain groups of people, and it was a big mess. And I was really, really confused. And I feel like that's one of the big myths about being trans, is that I always knew. And when I started using male pronouns and a male name, it was so right for me. And that wasn't the case for me. I was scared and I was confused and I didn't know if I was trans for a long time, and it took me years to figure it out. In that moment, it was like, okay, things were starting to come together, and that's when I decided that I would seek out the help of a gender therapist. Now, a lot of people seek out a gender therapist for a T letter, or like specifically for what they need, but I really sought her out because I was confused and I needed help working through my feelings, and I really 100% needed to know before I started to act on it, because that's just the kind of person that I am. I need to have a plan, and I need things to be pretty black and white, and it wasn't for me, and it was scary. So in the summer of 2010, I found a gender therapist, and I started telling my parents maybe I might be genderqueer or thinking about transitioning. From fall 2010 to summer 2011, basically my entire junior year of college, I was so confused. I did not know if transitioning was right for me. I was thinking about going down that road. There was a part of me that was admitting to myself that maybe this was right for me, and a part of me that was totally still denying it and scared of what was to come. What if people didn't like me? What if people didn't respect me? What if I was never seen as the guy I thought I would be? What if I transitioned and I looked and acted and was a totally different person that I didn't like? There were so many things that I was thinking about that I couldn't stop obsessing about it. I would watch YouTube all the time to try to figure these things out. I was at a loss.
I still haven't made the decision whether or not I want to transition, but the way I talk about it is kind of like I've already made the decision. I may not be ready to admit it to myself yet. It's really complicated. I don't know that I still identify as genderqueer. I don't know that I identify as trans either. I know that I'm ready to become somebody new. I don't know that I'm ready to say goodbye yet to who I am.
In that summer of 2011, I started making appointments to try to get tea. I don't know, I just hit a turning point. I think I had been with my therapist long enough that I was figuring things out now. I had tested out male pronouns and a name, and I found the name Reed finally that I liked, and I decided, okay, this is it. I'm committing. This is it now. There were clinics that were informed consent, and there were clinics that weren't, and I still didn't have a T letter from my therapist, and things were so complicated. But at that time, I knew that I wanted tea. There was no doubt in my mind that I wanted tea. And there were times before that I was really confused about that. I didn't like the side effects and the risks, and is it irreversible? And there were so many questions that I had going through my mind that I really didn't know if it was right for me. But in the summer of 2011, it was right for me. I knew, and I made an appointment to get it at a clinic. Finally, 2011 to 2012, my senior year of college, this is when everything came to fruition. I got an appointment and I started testosterone on November 14th. I came out to all my professors, all of my students, my housemates, everybody that I knew at college I basically came out to. I started writing coming out letters to my family and sending those out. I got my court date in December to legally change my name. I legally changed my gender with Social Security and all of the other banks and every random thing that I needed to do. In May, I had my first consult with Dr. 𝕜𝕟𝕠𝕨 and I made an appointment for top surgery in August of 2012. I graduated college in June of 2012. Everything just came together. And that summer in August, I got top surgery with Dr. 𝕜𝕟𝕠𝕨. Basically, things are going really well. I was almost a year on T at that point. It was just very clear that this is the right choice for me. And now, here I am, 5 years on T. I think before I started testosterone, I really never thought that I would get to this point. One of the biggest things for me was that I watched so many people on YouTube. A lot of them were this far along in their transition when I started to watch them. And I watched all their comparison videos and I was like, wow, I was so jealous. I just wanted to be them. I thought that will never be me. And I was scared that I would never commit and make the leap to transition. Because really, it was a huge decision. I know that it's a big decision for everybody, but especially it felt like such a big decision for me because I really wasn't 100% sure that this is what I wanted to do. And now here I am, 5 years later, 4 years post-op. This is it. This is me. This is where I am. And I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. It's really, really hard. It's a difficult life. It's a really difficult life. I don't know, there are times where I really hate myself, and I hate my body, and I hate that I'm trans. I do. There are times that I really hate that I'm trans. But there has never, ever been a time that I regretted transitioning. And I always work through those times where I hate that I'm trans, and I'm like, I would not be the person that I am today if it weren't for me being trans. I would not. I would be a totally different person. And reconciling that is really difficult for me. Overall, I really like the person that I am. And I like the person that I am now a lot more than I did 5 years ago. I pretty much owe that to transitioning. Physically, emotionally, mentally, everything that I've done up to this point to help myself and to further my transition, it's who I am. Absolutely. There are times when I am not proud to be trans, but then when I look at the community, I look at my support, and I look at my fans, and I look at the people watching this video, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is my life. I'm happy that I've come so far. This is it. This is 5 years. 5 years on T. I never, ever thought I would get this far, and it took a lot of hard work and perseverance and determination, but I finally, I made it. I made it to 5 years on T, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. So before I end this video, I wanted to say thank you to 3 groups of people. The first is my friends, who I call the Fab Five. So the Fab Five consists of Jarrett, Logan, Kayla, Megan, and I. We have been friends since, I don't know, since high school. They were really the first people who helped me embrace a different identity. And the first time was coming out as a lesbian. The second time was coming out as trans. And they were the first ever people to use the right pronouns and the right name, and they were always 100% supportive and always on board with what I wanted to do. I just wanted to say thank you because they've been there for me when a lot of other people weren't there for me. They mean more to me than probably they'll ever know, but I just had to say that I appreciate you guys, so thank you. The second person that I wanted to say thank you to is my best friend, Zoe. Zoe and I have been friends since we were actual babies. We have pictures of us from childhood to now. There's something about knowing someone for your entire life that just there's this bond that will never go away. And no matter who I meet or how many friends I have or what's going on with my life, she's always there. She always will be there, because we just have this bond where we're more like siblings than we are friends. I just wanted to say to her that her friendship has meant more to me than anything ever to happen in my life. My God. I'm not crying, I never cry. I'm crying a little. So just thank you to Zoe, because when I need someone, you're always the one that I want to go to, and you'll always be the one that I want to go to no matter what's happening in my life. Yeah, there are just things that have happened with us that I will never forget, and I will always just appreciate your friendship. So, thank you. And last but not least, my group of friends. Micah, Alex, and Sky. You guys understand me like nobody else can. You make me smile when I really feel like I can't. That sounds so fucking corny, but it's true. You guys are literally my best friends, and I don't know what I would do without you. I definitely wouldn't be the person I am today. I just wanted to say to you three, thank you, and I hope I will be friends with you for the rest of my life. You guys are truly just awesome. You're just awesome people. So thank you for being there for me and being like brothers to me, and I love you guys. Alright, and just one more shout out to all of you guys watching this video right now. I know that I wouldn't be the person that I am today without you, and having people watch me on YouTube and look up to me is like one of the best things that's ever happened in my whole life, and I hope that it'll continue to happen. I love you guys, so thanks. Thank you for everything. Alright, I hope you have enjoyed my 5 years on T montage, comparison, timeline, whatever you want to call it, and I'll see you all next week for another video. Bye.